In this lecture, we're going to discuss enums. Enums are an incredible feature to improve the developer experience. Oftentimes, beginners become confused about why enums exist. Truthfully, enums are a completely optional feature. You can develop complex games without them, but you may want to use them. Let's find out why. First things first, let's recap the concept of the developer experience. As we learned, developer experience is extremely important. For example, abstract classes improve the developer experience. We don't have to use abstract classes, but they can be helpful in enforcing standards in your classes. Not all features in programming languages were designed for controlling the application logic. Some features are there to help you debug problems or improve reusability. Enums are a feature for improving the developer experience. To understand why enums were introduced, let's look at a completely different example with forms. If we were hired to design a form for signing up for a bank account, we may need to create a field specifying the account type. The bank application may offer a savings account or checking account. There are two approaches we can take for presenting this option to the user. For this field, we can use a drop-down or a text input. In the drop-down, users are limited to two values. They can either select savings or checking. Custom values are not allowed. We're restricting the possible values, whereas a text input offers more freedom. Our users must type the account type. As you can imagine, this can pose a problem. What if users were able to make a typo? Or what if they tried to open an account that isn't offered by our bank, such as an investment account? It makes complete sense to use a drop-down in this scenario. Drop-downs are great for adding a constraint on the possible allowed values. Users can't make a typo, nor can they use a value outside the drop-down. So, what does this have to do with enums? Essentially, enums are drop-downs for developers. At the end of the day, we're human. We can make typos or accidentally use an invalid value. Rather than dealing with the headaches of remembering a list of possible values, we can use enums. An enum is just a list of possible values. If we were to type a value outside the list, we'd be given an error, which is what we want. It makes debugging easier. Thus, it improves the developer experience. In the next lecture, let's use an enum for the player's weapons.